Hi everybody, I'm Brianna, and in this video I'm restoring this forest. The forest is filled with dead and dried wood and a lot of garbage that has been dumped by previous owners. So our goal is to clean up this forest as much as we can by hand and allow it to begin to regenerate. I'm hoping to make this into the beautiful fairy forest of my dreams, and we are also doing this in memory of my cat Binks, and this was one of his trees that he loved. We actually started yesterday, so why don't we go back in time and rewind to what we did yesterday. To begin this entire journey, we needed to carve out better access to the forest, so we started by clearing some trails and cleaning up all of the dead wood. As we cleared and cleaned, we not only exposed the garbage, but we discovered even more. We estimated that there is roughly at least 10,000 pounds of housing materials dumped back here, which has been catastrophic for the earth and for the animals. There's a toilet back here. Maybe we could put that in the dumpster Welcome back to the future. Honestly, now that we cleared out so much of all the dead stuff, the garbage is kind of jarring. So this is all the garbage that I'm gonna try and clean up by hand, and all of that is also garbage. So you can see all the garbage. You can see that this log has fallen on the garbage, so we can't get this out. That's the toilet that we found in the bush yesterday. And then all of this, all of that is garbage. And it's actually like roofing materials. And it's like in the ground. So this is where you enter into the forest. And there's just all this garbage. So you can see like a lot of this metal is like in the ground. I feel like I'm working in a junkyard. Luckily tomorrow's recycling day, so some of this plastic I can put in recycling. The next part of the garbage that I'm working on is like embedded in the ground, and whenever you touch it, it just falls apart and like mixes in with the soil. This is really hard and so gross. Again, I just cannot believe that someone did this, and this is such a small area of the garbage, it's kind of overwhelming to think about how much work all that other stuff is gonna be. I just dug up a little bird skeleton. so I dropped some of the metal off at the dump, and the recycling dudes rejected my recycling. They left me a note saying it was too dirty. But luckily we still have a garbage bin because I got a new roof like 6 months ago and the company never picked up their bin, so we can put plastic in there, so that's what we're gonna do. I think at the beginning I said we might need a machine or it's gonna take years or something to get some of this garbage out, but now that we've cleared out a lot of the dead wood and stuff, it's just so noticeable, and so I'm going to try my best to tackle what I can by hand. I just saw this really cute bird sitting on some of the garbage, drinking out of the garbage water. I can't let that happen again. My dad just left and he told me that I have to be the one to dispose of the toilet. So I'm feeling determined to do it tonight, because I feel like if I go up there tomorrow and that's the first thing I have to do, I'm gonna feel a little bit discouraged. So I'm just sitting on the couch pumping myself up, and by that I mean I'm sitting here imagining myself lifting the toilet parts into the wheelbarrow, wheelbarrowing it out of the forest, and then lifting it into the dumpster. I'm now headed towards the toilet. And I'm gonna wear a mask. Thank God I just have one of these around. There it is. Some of the roofing material just falls apart. Now it's all little bits in the soil, which is really challenging. And this pile here is put on top of a burn pile. This is incredibly difficult.
engaging in in things that are harmful to the earth, that's harmful to your body as
So I'm in the forest and I think it's time for an update. It's been 2 months since I last worked in here. I decided to stop working in here for a few reasons. I hit a lot of roadblocks mentally and physically, and I just really needed to let go of some things, and I needed to take a step back. I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to do a lot of work in a very short amount of time, and the garbage situation, it was just taking a really negative physical toll on me. I had several injuries, I really hurt my back, and I had several mental breakdowns. It makes me feel really guilty for what happens to our garbage and what happens to nature. It's really sad. I personally feel like this is the biggest crime on nature that I've witnessed myself, the amount of garbage dumped in our yard. And it's been really emotional for me to like process it and clean it up, and like to think about where my garbage goes and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's been really emotional. And yeah, so I needed to take a step back. And also, I had a baby since the last time I was here. I got a kitten, so I've been on maternity leave, taking some time to be with Winnie. So I've just been trying to relieve some of that pressure that I was putting on myself. One of the reasons I was putting pressure on myself was because we never know when our garbage bin is going to get picked up. It was supposed to get picked up 8 months ago, and the company just like has neglected to get it. And so I was scrambling to get as much in the bin as I could in case they picked it up, but I don't think they're gonna do it. So I did the best that I could. And I've had to let go of the fact that I'm not gonna be able to do the other garbage piles because it's physically impossible. And one of the roadblocks that I've hit is that underneath all of the shingles that I cleaned up are burn piles. Last week I took another load of metal to the dump. It was a full carload. I was able to get rid of all the sheet metal and a lot of lingering stuff, which was huge. That was such a relief. So in the 2-month break that I took, the path to the forest completely grew in. And so last week my dad and I, well, he did all the cutting, made it a lot wider, cleaned it all up, and then I hauled it all out, so it's totally clean now. And it's so nice. I think it's even better than last time. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing shorts and sandals for this phase of the cleanup, it's because BC was literally on fire. The heat was just on another level, and pants were not an option. For these parts of the cleanup, I decided to wear a mask because I was coming across some super sketchy materials and I didn't want to inhale any mold or toxins. And when I think back about that, it's heartbreaking to think how long the animals and the earth were being suffocated by this garbage. These criminals also filled this entire shed with garbage and bins of oil. So for the garbage that I wasn't able to dispose of, I put it in here until we could deal with it at a later date. I spent the rest of the summer cleaning up as much garbage as I could, taking breaks when I needed to. The physical and emotional toll that this was taking on me was really, really tough because I would push so hard just wanting to do as much as I could when I was out there. And when I wasn't working on it, I had a lot of anxiety about how much I had left to do. Over the course of this entire project, I filled approximately 80 to 100 bags of garbage weighing about 15 to 20 pounds each. Then, of course, I had the shingles, metal, and other random bits and bobs, which really added to my weight tally. The closer I got to the bottom layers, the more garbage I discovered buried within the earth. It felt like defeat after defeat. In the end, my dad and I decided that the most attainable solution was to get as deep as we could, then level it all out and safely cover it up until the day we can excavate the forest. This way, the trees and earth can begin to regenerate, and Winnie, Ghost Binks, the wild animals, and myself can begin enjoying the woods. As we leveled out the earth, we also worked on making trails. This property is totally overgrown with salmon berries, and ultimately one day it will all need to be excavated. But for now, to make it as magical as possible, we started carving out a pathway system that all leads into the forest and my future stone circle. I'm not sure what my tally is yet, but I'm pretty confident that I'm really close to have cleaned up about 1,500 pounds of garbage. Now we're moving on to the beautification phase. We used these branches to plan out the main walkway, but the ultimate goal was to collect rocks, build a stone path, and construct a stone circle under Binks and Winnie's tree. She's looking good. I can't believe it. The end is near. As the weeks passed, my beautiful Winnie was getting bigger and bigger, and watching him run through the forest without climbing over garbage was beyond rewarding. So my dad just left to go get another load of gravel, and so I'm going to start bringing in the soil that we have. We had a dump truck bring in that soil a couple weeks ago, and the soil is going to go over top of the burn pile that we leveled out. Afterwards, through 2022, I built an entire pathway system with over 8 trails that lead into the stone circle, so stay tuned for that video. What are It is December. It's been a few months since my dad and I actually finished the path, and now I am going to line it with the rock that I have been collecting. I've been collecting rock from my dad's work site, blasted rock and dug up rock, and hopefully yesterday I did my last load. And also while there, my dad he taught me how to drive the excavator. I also built a stone circle over here, and I will link the video that I made about that down below. This whole space is really coming together. I honestly just can't even believe it. As I was editing this video, it was just so surreal to relive all the work that I did. While I was cleaning up the garbage, it felt impossible, but I knew that I could do it, and I believed in my vision for my enchanted forest, so I chose to keep going, and this achievement really makes me feel like I can do anything. Something many of us don't realize is that we are a reflection of the earth. The separation that we think exists is just an illusion. The condition of our planet, her nature, and her soil is a mirror for what's happening in our collective. Our earth carries infinite wisdom that expands our healing, our consciousness, and our awareness for the universe. Practicing earth magic and learning to care for her as we should care for ourselves can lead to inner union and the ultimate understanding of unity consciousness. And we are done. I cannot even believe this. Look at Winnie. Honestly, that is the whole reason why I started this. So, I mean, Binks and Winnie are the whole reason that I did this, because Binks was killed and it really just haunted me, like thinking about him running in the forest back here through the garbage, and I really didn't want that for Winnie and for the other animals that come through here. And so I'm really so proud of myself. I feel like I'm a whole new person since starting and finishing this. I am so much stronger mentally and physically, and this whole process kind of ended up mirroring my stages of grief. The anger, for sure, anger, and the acceptance and letting go, and just depression and having breakdowns about things that I was having a hard time controlling, all of those things. By the way, I officially cleaned up about 1,500 pounds of garbage by hand. Isn't that insane? I was actually wrong here, and I cleaned up over 2,000 pounds, and I've cleaned up more since then. Also, if you're wondering about that boat that you saw at the beginning of this video, unfortunately, it is still there. There's honestly probably still about 10,000 more pounds of garbage back here, but one step at a time. A friend gave me a little statue of an angel cat, and I put that on the path so that we have Binks every time I cross the threshold from the path to the stone circle. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. I'm sure it was a long video to watch, and hopefully you enjoyed the process and coming along on this journey with me. So I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.